Well, hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Views from the Bridge, your second favorite Philadelphia Union podcast behind that other one you listen to, I guess. We are here with a preview episode for the matchup against Charlotte FC tomorrow night at this point when you're listening to it, and just wanted to get some insight on Charlotte, what they're doing, how their season is going. Hopefully it's better than ours, and give you guys some insight into the game that's happening on Saturday night. So I have the Queen's Pitch podcast with me, Kara and Bridget. Guys, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much for having us.
Yeah, so I guess we can start a little bit with just Queen's Pitch. How did you guys come about? How long have you guys been around? Tell us how your podcast came to be.
Well, so Charlotte's only started in 2022, so we're a very young team, obviously. And Bridget and we became kind of extremely excited fans. Bridget mainly because of her daughter, correct?
Right.
Yeah. And we noticed that there weren't very many female voices on the podcast scene. While there were a few for the club and for journalism, there weren't very many in fan areas. And so we were like, this needs to change because we feel like the team and the fans of the team are women, families, kids, all over. And so that's what we set out to start. And so we began in 2023 before that season.
Yeah, that's
and we're
awesome.
Both moms. We have families, so we're busy. And this is just a fan podcast for us too.
Yeah. We're very much the same way. And yeah, have my family, have, my wife, and but love the team and love talking about it. So yeah. Tell us a little bit about, obviously you said Charlotte started in 2022. This is season number 3. Maybe a little bit about like how you guys got started with the team. Was that kind of as they got started, but then maybe how your fandom has changed or picked up or whatever over the last couple of years? To just reflect over the last couple of years for me of like, hey, what have the last 3 seasons been like?
The last 3 seasons have been pretty much for us like a roller coaster ride, I would like to say. I mean, we've been ups and downs. We're on our 3rd coach in our 3rd season. So it's one of those things where we've had real highs and then real lows. Last year we had one of our players pass away during preseason, so that started the season off with, a totally different vibe than what this season started off with a new coach. It's been each year has its own identity. For 3 years, we've had a story to tell. So it's one of those things where we have anxiety from the first 2 years, even though we're doing really well this year. It's like PTSD, and we've only been around 3 years.
Yeah, regular footy seasons, I feel like are roller coasters themselves, but ours has been especially intense for so young a club.
Yeah, for sure. I think one of the things I think is interesting is how clubs get started, right? And I think, the Union story has been well publicized. We had the Sons of Ben supporters group long before the team was even a thing. That group really kind of spearheaded the charge to have a MLS team or professional soccer team in Philadelphia. And then the ownership group kind of came together and came along and has developed over the years. Kevin Durant purchased a stake a couple years ago. Charlotte's story, I assume, is different. I think the Panthers owner also owns the team, and so tell me a little bit about that, or how you guys kind of view that of how the club getting started, and how is Charlotte taking to having an MLS team?
So I mean, I think I know not very much of this because it kind of happened all kind of during the pandemic. It really got started in 2019. I mean, for us, we were like, great, we're making an MLS team. All right, we're going to buy season tickets because my husband and I don't support any other sport. But this one, we were both on board. We're like, great, date nights are finally the thing for us.
Yeah.
But with the club, like the pandemic kind of threw a big wrench into that. And there are plenty of other people who probably know a whole lot more. But I would say like one of the things the club did was, even though they started this MLS team with David Tepper as the owner, I feel like they went out into Charlotte and went like, who are the people who are going to love soccer here? And why don't they have a club yet? Kind of a thing. We want to grab those people. And so they went out into different communities and there's a ton of supporters groups here. Bridget can probably talk a little bit more about that. And I really feel like they went for that identity of what is our community. We want to embrace them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like the it's totally different than the Panthers. You know, the Panthers fans. I was a Panthers fan when they first started, and then now you have the MLS soccer, and it's a totally different environment, totally different atmosphere, totally different, to me, different, you know, fan base altogether. So they went out and they reached those different people. We have, you know, different supporters groups that represent every different group, and we have, you know, the Hispanics. You have, you know, anybody wants to find a supporters group, there's one out there for you, and I think that's very. It's a lot different than in being a football fan in the NFL, especially with the Panthers. And I think one thing about David Tepper, it seems like he's very involved in the Panthers. But as far as our team with the Charlotte FC, he allows the front office to do a lot of that work. Or from our perspective, it seems like he's trusted the front office. And so it's a little different in our view from way the Panthers fans see him. We see him a little different. He doesn't seem to have his hands on.
That's cool. I love to hear that. I love to hear that there's different supporters groups and things. I think one of the challenges that the Union fans have faced is because of the way the team came along with the Sons of Ben kind of being the premier group or the group that kind of started the team. Everybody early on, it was like the Sons of Ben are the supporters group. And now there's been, other supporters groups who have come along over the last couple of years, but it's trying to figure out, okay, how do they fit into the culture of the club when this one supporters group was the one that kind of brought the club along. And so it's there has been some challenges and some growing pains and different things like that, but it's cool that, like, you guys are talking about, like, man, everybody's welcome and everybody's got a fan group that they can find that, a group of fans that they can relate to, get along with, and support the team that they love together. That's a real fun thing to see. So that's awesome to hear. Tell me a little bit about this season. What's been going well? Why is Charlotte having a good season this year?
I think it's because of our defense. When you ask them about Charlotte's season, it's their defense. Our defense has been unreal, and it's really funny because it's a very similar defense that we had, the same line that we had last year in the fall. It's just maybe a different way the coach is, but it's a very young back line, and that line has just dominated. We had 8 clean sheets this year already, and so I think that's our right now. That's, if you want, our identity is our defense.
Yeah, that's
I mean, it's pretty obvious that we don't have any DPs at this point. That's been kind of the story of the season. So, I mean, we really have nothing star power wise that we're hoping to add, in this summer window. So it really has been down to the defensive line and the effort they've been able to make.
Yeah, I think that's been the calling card of Philadelphia for so long, is Andre Blake and the defense, throwing up clean sheets, and then we haven't been able to do that this year. And Blake's been out for a portion of time. But if you don't have the star attacking power, which seems like every other team in the league does at times, then you do have to rely on, hey, how do you stop? If you can stop, if you're not scoring goals, you got to stop goals, and if you stop goals, then if you get your 1 or 2, then you're going to be okay. So that's good. As you think about players to watch, so I think one of the things we're trying to do through these preview shows is try to figure out how do we, how is their investment? And I think if you're anything like me as a soccer fan, you kind of watch your teams, but you don't really watch anybody else. So when a team comes in to play you, if it's not Miami, you may not know anybody on that team. And so who should Union fans be watching out for? Who do you like? Who's been playing well? Who's kind of the standout players for Charlotte?
Well, so I think one of the things that Charlotte is trying to model off of some other successful clubs, Philadelphia being one of them, is that they've been really trying to invest in their academy. And so MLS Next Pro for us has been a stepping stone immediately for this first team, from last year to this year, because last year was the first year for Crown Legacy as well. And so one of those players, or 2 of them, have come up. Patrick Ajimang, and he's the number 9. He's our forward right now. And in the words of Dean, he likes to create trouble. And he can really make problems for just anybody along their back line. And so that's been kind of the case is he's frequently being double teamed, just trying to make things happen up there. And he's a big guy. So even if he's tired, we have a lot of games this week, but he will keep coming and until he can fall over is what we've seen so far since he's been the solo man up top.
Bridget,
Yeah, I
anything
think
to add? Any other players?
I think the other people, the other one, like I said, is our defense. Is our two center backs. They're young, and they're a lot. I think they're underestimated. A lot of underrated. It's Adilson Milanda and Andrew Privet, but those two guys, if they can maintained, Bentaki, they can handle these guys. And if you can't get past that, I mean, if you can't figure out how to get past those two guys, then you don't have a chance. I don't think in scoring. So those are the other two people I would watch. Is those two center backs. I mean, I don't want y'all to watch them because we don't want y'all to win, but but I'm the same as you. I tell Kara, like, right before one of these games, like the game started, I'm like, Kara, who should we watch? Because like, who on this team should I watch? Because like, I don't watch any other teams either, so I'm always like, who should I watch? So I'm the same. I'm like you, but and then Ashley Westwood, he's our, he number one, passer. Making plays happen. So if you can't control him, which he's very hard to control because he's a little guy just running around. But those are the main guys in my book.
Yeah, Westwood's frequently orchestrating whatever might happen. I mean, he's not the only one, but he's often the one calling the shots, pretty clearly. So I would say the team absolutely feeds off his leadership and his direction for how that goes. And the other players I would say you probably should watch we do have a new YDP signing in Villella Labada, and he has been 2 weeks ago he scored a brace against Atlanta and it was phenomenal. Just the pretty soccer, which you like to see, but Charlotte fans haven't had too much of that this season with some goals. So that was great. He didn't have too much this last match against DC, so we're hoping that he will get some more opportunities. He did not show in the last game against Philadelphia. He was just coming back. I think he was subbed on the 80th minute, so you really didn't see very much because he was coming back from a short injury. So I'm hoping to see that happen a little bit more against Philly. And then our last goal scorer against DC was Kerwin Vargas, and he's another one of our wingers who can be dangerous in the outside. But this last game, he had a extremely threatening header into the goal, so that was extremely exciting. We don't have anything happening off corners this year. That's been a big criticism. So we were all very, very surprised, but gratified to get that win off that great header.
Yeah, it is interesting. It's hard to get wins in this league. Try to figure out how to get wins in this league, and anytime you can get one, it's great. And even especially if you get it late, it's super fun. I think it is weird. I will say it is just kind of reflecting on this. It is weird playing like the Union, just a month ago played Charlotte and Montreal back to back, and then we played Charlotte and Montreal back to back. And it's just like,
no.
Hey, that was a month ago. We just did that, and we're doing it again.
Deja vu.
So,
did we beat y'all last time? I think we
tied.
Did. We tied.
Tied 0-0. Nobody got anything.
Oh, and that's probably one of them games that was boring for me. Hopefully, we will score. That's our thing. We have trouble scoring.
That was going to be my next question. And what are the weaknesses of this team? You can have as good a season as you want, but there's always some weakness in the team. I think there's always something that you can point out that like I'm not sure. What is that for Charlotte?
We're not good at finishing. We can make some really good runs. We can do a lot of the pass. We can get to the final third, but it was just our finishing. We were having a hard time with that. I think once that comes together, can be very competitive. But like you said, you can't win a game if you don't score a goal. So our whole thing is we just need to score goals.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, and we've had a lot of, again, some younger players come up who it's kind of riding on. And I think all of our forwards right now just about are all young guys and young players. And so that experience that you're looking for up top is not existent. And so no one is quite to their height of consistency in expectation and goals and in creation. And so that has been kind of tough to watch. They'll get in great areas, but it just won't go in the goal, the correct. That final bit, the final connection, someone getting on the end of the ball hasn't been there. And, you can't win, you can't score. And the other thing is too, like I said, we've had, I don't know, something in the realm of like 90 over 100 corners, and we've only scored off 2.
Yeah. Listen,
Sorry,
I get
that's
it.
my
The
dog.
Union are having
1 second.
a lot of those similar problems and similar things going on. I feel like we've had a season where it just doesn't seem to click up top, and until that happens, and then it sounds like we might be losing our top goal scorer. So it's gonna be real fun. It's gonna be real fun the rest of the season. Any like predictions of what you expect to see in the game on Saturday?
Bridget, you like to make predictions. Yours are pretty good.
Oh, I don't know. I'm hoping that we win this one. Our guys will be tired because they played 3. That'll be our
3
third
games
game
this
in a
week,
row.
yeah.
So I think that it'll be a tough game. I feel like Philadelphia's about equal with us right now, so it's gonna be scrappy. I'm gonna go with I want another clean sheet so bad, but it's a away game, so I'm gonna go with a 2-1. I think we're gonna win by 2. I think one of my back line's gonna score a goal this time.
There you go. I think that's
Wishful
probably
thinking.
a pretty good shout. Probably a pretty good shout, actually. The Union also have 3 games this week, and the first was Saturday against Miami, the top team in the East. Wednesday is against Cincinnati, number 2 in the East, and then we play Charlotte. So you guys are getting us coming off of 2 tough games, and missing our top goal scorer in Carranza, who's probably off to the Netherlands, and missing Daniel Gazdag, number 10, who is at the Euros with Hungary. And so I am not confident in this game whatsoever. So
that's so sad. Y'all played 3 of the top 5 in 1 week.
Ouch.
In 1 week. Yep. That's when we're already down and hurting and having a bad season. So it's like, all right, if we could get 1 point out of these 3 games, I think I'd be thrilled. So
yeah, and we travel away to Orlando, and that's the unknown result. Right now, we haven't been too well away. We've only won 2, I think, this year away. So our record has been really poor. Our home form has really been where it's at, and so it's anyone's game. I mean, we've heard that Philly hasn't had too hot of a season at home either.
We have not.
Which it's the opposite for us. So.
Yep, we lost 4 in a row at home this season for the first time in our history. We've never lost 4 in a row at home, and we lost 4 in a row at home this year. So it's going to be Philly fans are in rough shape right now, and we're trying to figure out how to rebound and trying to figure out how to rally for the rest of the season to support the team. When we may not support the ownership group the way we need to, but obviously the guys on the field need the support. So we'll be there till the end of the season anyway. So
we've been there. We understand. In our short season, we've already been there a couple times, but we do trust our front office at this point. So,
listen,
I would say Philly is probably the third team that I follow. I follow Atlanta United for my brother-in-law, and my mom's from Philly. In fact, she's in Philly right now. So, family connections, but Charlotte comes first.
Yes. Well, thank you guys so much for joining tonight and just giving us some insight into the team and the game this weekend. Where can people find you if they want to hear more?
You can follow us on Twitter. We're at Queen's Pitch, CLT, and you can follow us on Instagram at the Queen's Pitch. And, Bridget and I are on there. You're welcome to chat with us. There are a lot of great people in Charlotte. So, if you ever come down, we've been told that our fan groups and supporter groups are really nice to traveling fans. So if you ever come down, we welcome you. And we generally don't hold the results of the field on their fans.
Yeah.
So please come visit.
Yeah. We always say we're friends in the parking lot, enemies in the stadium, and friends in the parking lot at the end of the game. So
that's right.
Exactly.
We'll do it. Anyway, well, thank you guys. You can find us at VFTBPod wherever you listen to your podcast, any social media. We're there, and we'd love to have you listen. Let us know what you think of the game against Charlotte this weekend, what you think the result might be, and we'll talk to you afterwards. See ya.